Hey everybody, this is Lewis Speaks 2019, and I want to take a moment to talk to you about advice. Why I no longer give friends advice. The truth of the matter is, I used to give so much advice to friends, and I realized that half the time they never really took the advice, half the time they got mad at you when the advice didn't work out the way they thought it would, and they blamed you. And I realized that I can no longer give advice to friends, because half the times, like I mentioned earlier, they don't take the advice and it makes you feel dismissed, it makes you feel disregarded, and it undermines your good feelings about your own ability to help other people. So, what I now do is I now explore what the certain issue means to that person. And I try to provide the tools that they can use to help them draw their own conclusion. For example, someone comes to me asking me whether or not they should stay with the partner. I definitely, one, I thank them for trusting me with their story. I thank them for seeing me as a person who can offer that guidance, you know? So I definitely start off by thanking them. Then I explore what the relationship might mean to them, what being in the relationship has offered them versus what it has taken away from them. I encourage them, and this is why I provide the tools. I encourage them to do the pros and cons list, to make that list of what they're getting from the relationship, what they're not getting from the relationship, and have them draw their own conclusion. What's working for them, what's not working for them, and then have them make their own conclusion. I also put the ball in their court. What do you think? If you had a friend, what advice or what suggestions would you give that friend? Why aren't you taking your own advice? You know? So, this is what I do from now on. I no longer am in the business of giving people advice because it has come back to bite me in the ass. And I realize that I am an effective healer. And as an effective healer, I have to protect myself more. I have to protect my my good feelings about what I do. And oftentimes people can try to undermine those good feelings by blaming you, by projecting their own insecurities and their own negative emotions onto you. So part of being an effective healer is setting those boundaries, is protecting your energy, is being the guardian of your good feelings in your good space. And so, this is in a nutshell why I no longer give advice. And I also realize that by helping people to explore, you're empowering them. You're giving them the tools necessary to be independent, to make their own conscious choices, and to support themselves. You're teaching people how to support themselves. And that right there, I think, is missing when you offer advice prematurely, or if you offer advice at all. Um, you really disempower people when you just give them the easy answer. But if you explore, you definitely provide them with that empowerment that they need, which is going to serve them as they journey on. They're going to run into some more obstacles, some more problems, some more issues where they're going to need those tools, you know? And what I realize is that a challenge to this exploration is that oftentimes we're tired. Oftentimes we don't have the energy to go through that process with someone. We feel as though it's draining. It's draining to have to constantly explore these things, and that takes time. Whereas giving advice is a direct shot. But in the long run, it doesn't really save you time and energy, because in the long run, when that advice happens to not be to their liking or doesn't happen to go as they might have thought it should have gone, then you're the one to blame. Eventually, you have to um, do a cleanup. Eventually, they do not trust you anymore. But when you're offering an exploration and offering the tools, people trust you. They feel as though you have empowered them. And so, this is what I do. Even in my practice, I empower people to make their own decisions. I don't tell people what to do. I just give them the tools to make their own decisions. And that's been effective. That has definitely been effective. It has definitely helped me to win their trust, their respect, as well as it has helped me to win my own respect because I've set that boundary for myself. I've protected my space. I've protected my good feelings so that way I could bring them to you without resentment or anger if you choose not to listen to my advice. Because before I used to get so angry when people used to ask me for my advice, then not take my advice. It used to make me feel as though they were dismissing me, disregarding my feelings. They were not validating me. And so I felt like, wow, so, okay. So with this perspective, not only do I get to empower them, I empower myself too. It's a win-win. So I encourage everybody out there, stop giving advice to your friends. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's advice. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh, but anyhow, I definitely encourage you to explore with them. You know, explore the reasons why they might feel they need your advice. You know, what is it about your advice that they feel that they can benefit from? That's another exploration. If they ask for your advice, explore why they feel they need the advice. So the key word here is to explore. And sometimes you're going to get caught up like I just did. You're going to want to give that quick advice, but you got to just temper it back, pull yourself in, reel yourself in, say to yourself, wait a minute, let's explore this. So I encourage everyone to do so, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I hope that your friendships in the upcoming year, 2020, are strong, healthy, and rewarding. Peace.